How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to chaoschild. So last time we kind of had a summary of like the evidence we had so far and kind of trying to connect the sumo stickers to the sites. We have our own vested interest. Takuru had some very personal freakiness with a sumo sticker in his house, and although he's trying to completely dismiss that as having never happened or just not being real, we know better. So this path, while it seems like it's kind of like a far-fetched, direction to take the investigation, we know it's going in the good direction in that regard. And it looks like we're looking for the blonde girl again, Arimura. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Very excited to see how this plans out because she definitely knows something. Though it's funny because like I think it's trying to do a similar bait and switch where it feels like she comes across as really hostile towards the main character, but I'm guessing she's more like an ally or at least an unintended enemy, not like the malevolent force that's actually like working about and bringing about these deaths. I think she might have been there to try and stop it, maybe having figured out enough through context clues or just information in general that like, oh, like the next target is likely going to be located here. Like somehow she got insight or like had inside information and was able to do that, and by doing so she was able to potentially like try and stop it, but she failed and got caught with a psychic blast that made her go a little psychotic against the police for a time. That's kind of what I'm guessing, and so I don't see her being an actual antagonist, which would also explain why everyone was super excited to see her, because it'd be hard to, like, I understand sometimes people go for the bad characters or fall for like the evil twisted characters, but the fact that she had such a like an immediate appeal makes me feel like she's going to eventually become an ally, but we'll have to see. Anyway, other than that, yeah, like let's jump in, continue the investigation, looking for these signs, trying to pick apart this mystery and see if we can find some more satisfactory answers as we go along the way. So let's get started. All right, so Ona-san, Arimura. So it was just like trying to track her down, clearly.
ひなえなら学校のどっかだと思うよ。うちらのクラス校内の飾り付け担当だから。
Hinai. Okay, Hinai. Makes sense. That's how you say her name.
学食じゃない？アッコが引っ張っていったし。
Akko. Oh wait, is Akko the girl that was in like the lab coat? Interesting. They're a pair.
おお、尾上さん。飯？有村？
Oh, wrong side. Okay.
さっきまでいたけど、あかりの班手伝うって。
Akari. Okay, Akari's team.
あ、尾上っち、プロレスやってく？
Wanna wrestle? What?
ひなえ？はるかんとこじゃないの？
もう行くんか？尾上もやってこうぜ、プロレス。
That's a weird thing to say to a girl.
捕まらないね。有村さん、友達多いのかな？
Either that or she like knows where we are. Like maybe she's got eyes on us somehow.
お、どうしたの？
いや、お前、もしかして意外にモテるのか？
Well, of course she is. She's adorable.
なんで？
Wait, why? Everybody in the second year class seemed to know who you were.
そうなの？
I know. That happened to me too. Like, I'm more like an Onoa in that regard because I never saw myself as popular. I had a very small circle of friends, and then I had a slightly larger circle of acquaintances. Acquaintances being people whom I would like call, talk to, hang out, set up activities with and such, but I didn't really feel that personal connection where we would like, if nothing else, like I'd spend time with them like on our own, like one-on-one, casually. It'd be more like, oh, if we're planning something, let's get together and do something. But like, you know, there was a different tier there. But like, everybody apparently had a good idea who I was. My graduating class wasn't tiny. It wasn't huge, but like in my graduating class, it was like 350 kids. But like, I also knew people in the grades above me, in grades below me, and like they knew me. Like a lot of times, post high school, if I bumped into somebody, they would immediately recognize me and go, "Hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while." And I'd be drawing a blank. I'd be like, "Who are you?" But then they talk to me a bit and remind me. I'd be like, "Oh, okay, right. Like I understand like who you're connected to and how we spent time together." But like, I don't know. It was one of those things where I didn't feel like it was that close to people, but then it was. More cat shenanigans. I'll have to hopefully edit that out. Anyway. So yeah, Onoa and I have very similar backgrounds, have very similar feels about things, I think. Seneca made a face like she'd only just realized it now.
Huh?
Well, I never thought of her as particularly unpopular. But even though we weren't always together, we were together often enough that I was too close to get a sense of something like that. Wait, I think a long time ago Kurusu once told her, act a little more like a girl, you're wasting your potential.
Taku?
なんでもない。というか、尾上、お前本当に有村さんのこと知らなかったのか？よくわからないけど、結構ネットワークが広そうな子じゃないか。
Yeah,
違うクラスとはいえ、女子のグループとかでは繋がってても良さそうなもんだけど。
First of all, some girls group. What, you just think girls have secret clubs where they meet up together and chat and gossip? Totally not real. Never happens. Anyway, beyond that though, it is interesting. If she is so well known, a lot of people know her, why didn't she know, like, Arimura, or whatever her name is? Arimura, yeah. Maybe it's like Onoa with me again, where like, maybe they know of each other, they've interacted, but Onoa just never paid that much attention because they weren't running in similar circles. Girls at high schools had to be better connected than anybody else around, right? No, they certainly can be, and I think socially there could be a lot of disposition to do so, but I don't know, they're people.
さあ、私クラスのグループとかそういうのあまり意識したことないから。
Yeah, she doesn't see the cliques. She's just like, they're just people. That makes sense.
もう少し女の子らしく振る舞いなさい。
何それ？
Yeah, what was that about?
それマジで？
I suddenly heard a voice I remember.
今の。
I looked next to me and saw Seneca was clinging to the window glass and looking down. I looked down and saw someone I knew walking with a group of girls toward the school gate.
急ごう。
Uh-oh. They both know her. So who is this person?
いや違う。告白までは言ってないって言ってた。
Oh, is this gonna be her? Yeah.
でもあいあい傘でしょ？雨降る夜の渋谷でしょ？アッコの性格なら、というか、アッコの思い度合いなら告白までは行くよ。
Uh-huh. Aw, that's kind of sweet, but it is normal gossip. Yeah, we finally found her.
やっぱそう思う？ロールキャベツ系女子だもん。
Cabbage roll girl is gonna be a spin of Cabbage Patch Kid. A Japanese term for a girl who may seem shy at first glance but can become extremely forceful when it comes to getting what she wants in love. The name comes from the Japanese cabbage roll, which is a spiced meat wrapped in cooked cabbage. It's said that the peaceful cabbage on the outside hides the vicious carnivore that lurks within. Okay, is that a real phrase? Because like the kind of otaku sound of that would be oh, maybe that's... Is there an otaku version for, like, shy, but, like... Oh, is that, like... It's like... Oh, shoot, there is one. It's like dere, I think. Instead of tsundere, it's, like a... It's, like, shy, but then, like, becomes very, like lovey-dovey, maybe. But I don't know. Cabbage roll girl. Huh.
嘘、アッコってロールキャベツなの？
Alright, Takuru, you're coming on us real creepy, just standing behind her, breathing heavy.
買い出しかな？
I mean, Arimura-san was walking through the yard with two people that looked like they were her friends. Just like Seneca said, she wasn't helping with the decorations in the yard, she was heading straight for the gate.
話しかける？
いや、ちょっと待って。
Give me a second. Like, no, like, dude. If you need a second, maybe the second should be to decide whether you're gonna follow her and observe rather than talk to her. But like, I know it's mostly your social anxiety. I needed to get ready. What should I ask? What happened in the hotel, of course, and what did she mean by what she told me?
はるかはどうなの？磯崎くん。
Haruka for Isozaki.
あれ？言ってなかったっけ？はるか今、白井くんと仲いいんだよ。
Shira-kun right now.
うっそー！ お姉さんは聞いてませんよ。何つながり？
So she's asking about their relationships.
いや、そこまでじゃないって。
で、何つながり？
ツイポ。白井くんがハマった壁宝ボットのネタ画像。私がリツったのがきっかけで。
Oh, wow. That's interesting that that could lead to two people like meeting in real life.
はるかもロールキャベツだったか。ぬかった。
いや、別に狙ったとかじゃないって。偶然。
タク、行っちゃうよ。
Yeah, come on. I know, but
なんだこのギャップ。
私は嬉しい。なんか幸せ。
she was nothing like the girl I'd seen in the hotel room or even the student council room. She was just a normal teenage girl. And if you asked me, one of the worthless ones who loved to talk about things that didn't matter. Suddenly, Arimura-san stopped.
あの人は
Oh, who's that? Wait, who is that?
タク、あの人。
Like, who is that? Because that, like, looks kind of familiar. Is that the detective, maybe? Or am I seeing things? Yeah, I knew him. That was the detective who'd visited the interrogation room during our questioning. Okay. Let's have a negative. We haven't done one of these in a while.
ごめん、休養ができてしまった。買い出し任せていい？
Arimura-san suddenly bowed to the other two. They seemed about to say something, but they must have seen the detective and thought better of it.
後で連絡する。
They left.
少し非常識じゃないですか。
Her voice sounded different, like somebody had flipped a switch somewhere inside her. Yeah. She puts on a mask for school for sure.
どうしても君に会いたかったんだ。
だからって学校にまで押しかけてくるなんて、もし私たちの関係がバレたりしたら。
Oh gosh, oh no.
俺は構わない。
It's okay. Why did it have to be in a relationship?
あなたは構わなくても私は困るの。
You're gonna make her the fans of her cry. I felt like they were about to start a fight. What kind of relationship do they have? Was I imagining it, or was there something immoral about their relationship? Dude, that's all you think about.
そうか。それはすまなかった。だがこれだけは分かってくれ。俺は君を一生守っていくつもりだ。
Aww.
私まだ子供なのに。
関係ない。
Oh boy.
これは。
Yeah, yep. Seneca seemed confused, but I was sure about what was going on. Those two were.
ねえ、私のこと愛してる？
Mm-hmm.
ああ、愛している。世界中の誰よりも。
Oh, I knew it. Oh no, feels like I saw something I really shouldn't have.
本気？
本気だ。
私みたいな女に入れ込んだら、あなたの人生むちゃくちゃになるかもしれないのに。
Yeah.
関係ない。そう言っただろ。
バカ。本当にバカよ。あなたと距離を取ろうとしてるのに、あなたはどこまでも追いかけてくる。
It's one of those, that's one of those lines of one of those things. It's like, if you have the right music playing and everything and the characters are likable and hot, you're like, oh, that's so sweet. And then it's like, so creepy if it's like not mutual.
私、あなたのことを不幸にしたくない。
Arimura-san covered her face with her hand. It looked like she was crying. The air felt heavy. This is like a scene from a movie.
俺は不幸になんてならない。君を守ることが 俺にとって一番の幸せだからだ。
God, this is the darker of the two. What was the positive one gonna be? The detective held her gently.
こんな目立つ場所でなんて大胆な。
He's like, what are you doing? The two of them gaze at one another. Arimura-san softly closed her eyes and the tears kept falling. Their lips drew ever closer.
そんな事態になったらさっさと手を引こう。ゴシップなんか追うもんか。僕にもプライドっていうものがある。
Normally I wouldn't want to even watch something like this.
ゴシップって何？
Nothing. She doesn't even know that? How could you be part of the newspaper club and not know that?
人のプライベートをセンセーションに暴き立てることだよ。
そういうのはダメなんだ。
ゴシップ誌は世の中にたくさんある。でも僕は好きじゃないっていうだけ。
オッケー。
Seneca nodded and gave me a thumbs up.
私もゴシップみたいなことはしないようにする。
You're one of the best.
ああ。
Well, whatever. Arimura-san was ignoring me and talking with the detective, a serious look on her face.
悪いが、こちらも動ける時間をなんとかひねり出してる状態だ。刑事だとは名乗っていないから勘弁してもらいたい。
刑事うんぬんじゃなくて。
君はあくまで条件付きの釈放。わかってるね。
Right.
近くの喫茶店でいいですか？あまり知られてない穴場があるんで。
Oh, is it going to be that place that we like? The two of them started to walk off.
刑事さんとデートかな？
そんなわけないだろ。事件についての話に決まってる。
As I stood there and thought, Seneca brought her face right up to mine. It was too close. If the other students saw, they'd get suspicious, and she smelled good. I wanted to stop her. I like how that's thrown in there.
どうするの？タク。
僕たちもぜひ話聞きたいよな。
I pushed her face back just a little, and looked toward the direction they'd gone off in.
じゃあ、行く？
ああ、近くの喫茶店かっていうと。
It's gotta be that one. Even after being damaged by the earthquake, Shibuya was still a mecca for fashion and culture. There were a number of cafes, even just around Hekiho Academy. Hekiho
あ
Academy.
んまり知られてない穴場って言ってたよね。となると、やっぱりカフェラックスかな。
Yeah, that would make some sense. The newspaper club went there so often because it was close to the school, but students rarely visited it.
尾上にしては冴えてるな。
Oh, hey.
褒められた。
Oh my gosh.
いや、そんなに褒めてないからな。
Hey. We nodded at each other as we went through the gate.
よし、行くぞ。
オッケー。
Aw. I like you so much. She's growing on me so much.
お
You!
主たちか。いつもの席は今さっき埋まって。ん？
Uh-huh. I tried to motion to the waitress to get her attention. Get her to understand. Seneca and I finally succeeded in getting our point across.
ふむ。訳ありか。よかろう。こちらへ来い。
With a perceptiveness that belied her ridiculous appearance, she led us to the seat next to the entrance, far from our usual spot. Who is this? If we put up a newspaper, maybe they couldn't spot us. That's a movie thing. We sat down and spread out a newspaper to hide our faces. I ordered myself the usual Mountain View, and Seneca had her grapefruit juice. Seneca's just, I don't know what, she's just me. She's me in another life. Seneca drew her shoulders to make herself harder to spot. Drew her shoulders. I'm guessing she pulls herself in.
聞こえる？
Trying. I peeked out a little over the newspaper and motioned for her to be quiet, then listened.
ここは壁法の人たちにとって穴場なのかい？
だと思います。
Kinda. Good. It was a little hard to hear, but I could make it out. I was still amazed to find out that anyone from Hekiko but us knew about this place.
それで、何なんですか？
The music.
取り調べにはちゃんと通ってるじゃないですか。
さっき初めて見たが、君は壁法では随分と表情が違うんだな。
Oh, yeah. Arimura-san frowned a little.
取り調べに対しては黙秘こそしていないものの、徹底して平坦な調子を貫いているそうだが。
Mm-hmm. By interrogations, he must mean they were asking her about what she was doing at the Love Hotel. What was that? A file?
2年3組有村ひなえ、16歳。2014年、壁氷学園に入学。文芸部部長。友達が多く、明るく社交的な性格の持ち主。
So I wonder who they get this from. Is this a quote from like a specific interview they did? But yeah, so 16 years old. That's the thing. It's crazy to imagine these guys. They're just kids. Enrolled in 2014, so only like a year ago. Lots of friends, bright social life. Head of the literature club. Represent.
成績は中の中。補導歴や学園側に反発するなどの問題行動を取った記録はなし。
Okay. Perfectly normal profile.
学園側から提出された君の資料だ。これに、こちら側で調べた簡単な君のプロフィール以外、事件に関しては何も分かっていない。
Right.
何も覚えていませんの一点張りではな。
The detective leaned back in his chair. I couldn't see his expression from here, but I could guess that he was frowning.
少しは壁法にいる時のように社交的に振る舞えないか？我々警察は全力をもって事件の解決に。
嘘です。
Oh. Her words were sharp. Arimura-san was glaring at the detective as if she found his presence extremely unpleasant.
そうだったな。すまない。
The detective bowed his head just a little. I couldn't see his expression.
なんだ？
自分とその協力者は全力をもって事件の解決に当たっている。少なくとも敵対する立場にはいないだろう。
Arimura-san fell silent for a moment, as if considering his words. What? What were they talking about?
別に、取り調べに対して非協力的な態度を取るつもりはありません。ただ、答えようがないだけです。事件前後の記憶がないのは本当のことなんですから。
Okay.
では、それ以外のことに関してこちらに言えることはないか？例えば、殺された柿田博則との関係については？
Oh yeah, like, did you catch that? He called him a murder victim, not a suicide? My heart started beating faster.
タク？
The murder victim? The police had declared the Love Hotel incident revolving dead a suicide. I leaned forward even more. I couldn't afford to miss a word of this.
こちらっていうのは、新庄さんとあの人たちってことですよね。
Is that the lab coat girl?
ああ、警察は関係ない。
Arimura-san thought for a second.
柿田さんとは、協力関係でした。
協力というと、あの件についての？
Okay. More cryptic words.
もちろんそうです。時折、匿名性のある場所で落ち合って、情報交換をしていました。
Okay. So they do investigating. If it's exchanging information, I wonder if she's like the one on the app, like the Hekigo, like news person. Like she might be doing those midnight broadcasts.
どうやって知り合った？どうした？
兄の友人だったので。
Oh, friend of your brother's. 16. I keep trying to attach this to different, like, people that we know from the first game, but, like, the gap is too big for that to make sense.
ん？確か君のお兄さんは 地震で。
やめてください。
Oh.
兄や、私の家のことについては関係ありません。
Arimura-san's voice sounded genuinely pained. The detective fell silent for a moment, allowing her words to echo through the room.
あ、わかった。
Oh crap, that's us, isn't it?
はい、新庄。
Okay.
ああ。わかった。10分ほどで戻る。進めておいてくれ。
The detective stood up. I quickly scrunched my shoulders together and leaned close to the newspaper. The detective knew our faces. I couldn't let him see me.
そうだ。その前に、これに見覚えはないか？
The detective took out something like a file. Something. And Arimura-san jerked backward, looked away, frowning.
おい、どうした？
Is it going to be a sumo face?
知ってますよ。でも嫌いなんです。そのシール。
It is! Did she say sticker?
それが、どうかしたんですか？
She was still looking away as she spat out the words.
ホテルの事件現場を撮影した動画がネットに上げられた件は知っているだろう。あれはどうやら渋谷の野良無線 LAN からアップロードされていたようで、まだ犯人が特定できていないんだが、その動画を撮影したカメラがあったと思われる場所にこれが貼ってあったんだ。
Right.
何か知っていることはないか？
別に、気味の悪いシールっていうだけです。街のあちこちに貼ってあるじゃないですか。
So again, like, this is a visceral reaction, but I feel like Taku would not have a much different reaction. So maybe she's seen how creepy and, like, has seen, like, maybe them be activated before and just feels like they're watching, which is what they are doing. But, like, I don't think she's directly tied to it. There's a potential she's seeing it as an enemy and having a visceral reaction like this anyway. But I don't know. That's interesting. Either she knows what it is and maybe who's behind it and doesn't want them to see her, or like doesn't like the idea of them watching, or she just gets bad vibes from it in general.
早くしまってください。
So yeah, she refuses to look at it. The detective put it away.
だろうな。こんなもの事件と関係あるはずがない。
This time he turned to leave for real.
今後はなるべく署の取り調べに対しても協力的な姿勢を見せてくれ。
だから、話せることがありません。
話さなくていい。だが、条件付きの釈放を面白く思っていないお偉方もいる。しがらみってやつだ。へきょうであれだけ元気な君なら簡単なことだろ。
Arimura-san sighed a very exaggerated sigh.
言っておきますけど。
I almost get the feeling like he's saying, like, hey, even if you don't have anything else to say, like, put on a show or, like, maybe make it feel like you're invested or something.
今時、女子高生が女子高生をやるのもかなり大変なんですよ。
Oh my gosh. It really is like a switch. It's creepy. Crap. Good, they didn't spot us.
ところで、君の同類は今のところ他にいないんだな。
もちです。
No others like you. So has he been briefed about gigalomaniacs?
また来るがよい。
ビビった。
タク、有村さんが出る前に出た方がよくない？
そうだな。
Things could get complicated if she caught me listening in. I paid for our drinks and headed for the exit.
また来るがよい。
Yeah, we will, strange girl. Just as I was about to leave.
どうなろうが、知ったことじゃない。
I feel like we shouldn't have tried to leave first. I think we draw more attention. Arimura was all the way in the back, but I could hear her voice clearly. October 6th, 2015, Tuesday. Okay, and isn't the 10th when, like, the next new gen killing should happen? 9 p.m. in front of Shibuya Station. The place was crowded and noisy as ever. The footsteps of people rushing to the station to get home after work, the voices of people talking in their phones about where to meet for drinks, the themes of joy of old friends were reunited. It all blended together. It all had an effect on anyone who passed through it, even for a moment. 6 years after Shibuya earthquake, the city had been rebuilt to the point where there was nothing left to remind you of it. Everything was up and running again, until a few years ago, many people would stop and stare, wonder how everything was new, but not anymore. The slogan of the restoration effort, Shibuya, City Reborn, had such an effect on people that past was beginning to be forgotten. At least for people who weren't in Shibuya during the earthquake. Yeah, I can't really forget that. Just 1 minute walk from the station. Was the Shibuya Earthquake Memorial. Okay, like a little spire. Kurusu, that's who's here, huh? Kurusu made her way to sure to always visit once a week. She would put a flower down in the name of her best friend from elementary school and pray silently. Aww. Also, like, casual wear, pink shirt with blouse, she's got style. It was only a short distance from the heart of the city, but the noise and commotion didn't reach this place. This place was somberly constructed and pure, as if it wanted to be separated from all of that. Today was October 6th. The earthquake was on November 6th, so this was the same day of the month. Maybe that's why there were so many flowers? Some of them were lying scattered on the ground. Aww. Dang. She looks so sad. Like super, super somber. There was no one around. Sometimes people would come around at 10:30 p.m. when the earthquake struck, but other than that, the place was mostly empty at night. Kurusu went around the area, grabbing up all the scattered flowers she could see and putting them on a nearby dais. She'd done it many times before. It was all part of her routine.
どうすればいいかな。
Kurusu was thinking about what happened a few days before and about her younger brother, Miyashiro.
あなた、殺されますよ。宮代拓先輩。
So you heard that too. She'd heard it clearly. Arimura Hinai had said those words to Miyashiro.
タクルが。
No, that was impossible. There was no way her brother was about to get caught up in something just because of what he'd learned. Suddenly, the wind blew for the flowers out of her hand. They scattered away from her. All she could do was watch. For a moment, she tried to reach out and grab them, but her hand clawed uselessly at the air. Before the feelings overwhelmed her, she turned toward the place where her friend's name was carved.
ねえ。
She rubbed it gently. The familiar sensation came to her through her fingers.
どうすればいいかな。
But the name Minamisawa Senri just echoed the question back to her. Senri. Minamisawa Senri. Why does that sound familiar? Senri. Minamisawa.
いいんじゃないか？珍しくいいアングルだ。
お前な、言っとくけどかなりめんどくさかったんだぞこれ。
どっかにくくりつけたのか？
なんか壁にくっついてる鉄パイプみたいなやつにな。
違う、それきっと雨どいだ。屋根に溜まった雨水を。
どうでもいい。くくりつけるのに使ったバンドやらは自腹切ったんだからな。明日払えよ。
Like, oh, that's just the drainage pipe. It's like, shut up, I don't care.
設置する場所はそっちが勝手に。
You're the one that
言い
told
出
him
しっ
to.
てはそっちだろ、宮代部長。言っとくけど、データの回収はみんなで持ち回りだからな。
わかってるよ。
Fine.
てか、それもいちいち面倒なんだよな。中継式のは手に入らなかったのか？
高いんだよ。
And if we tried to do wirelessly from all the way to Hekiko or this place, that'd be a huge pain.
で、そっちは？
え？
有村さんだよ。会えたのか？
Kinda. I guess. It depends on how you look at it.
明日話すよ。結構面白い情報が手に入ったから。
なんだよ、今言えよ。
I mean, give him the gist. I'd say for now, be like, I didn't talk to her directly, but I saw her talking to the investigator. I was able to follow them and get some and eavesdrop a bit.
そろそろ渋谷ニュースの放送が始まるんだよ。
え？今日放送あるのか？
You should have been more careful.
ちゃんと全部チェックしとけよ。今日の更新文の最後に書いてあったぞ、伊藤部員。
やかましい！
Ah! He hung up on me angrily. Then I put the phone down, checked the time. About 5 more minutes. Alright. I opened Shibuya News and waited for the broadcast to start. After that, Arimura-san had waited about an hour before she'd come out to the Cafe Lax. I thought about pretending to run into her, but I didn't want to go up to her too fast and have her find out I was listening. As I waited for the right moment, she got in a taxi and left. She was probably heading to Shibuya police station for an interrogation. This was amazing. I wasn't able to talk to Arimura-san, but I knew I'd managed to get much more important information. There was a lot about that conversation I didn't understand, but I was right about one thing. The police were treating the incidents, or at least the revolving dead, as murders.
いや、警察はじゃないのかもしれない。
It might be just the detective. That detective, Shinjo-san, was it? He seemed to be acting separately from the rest of the police force. And he had some kind of secret about it that he shared with Arimura-san. But more importantly than that, more importantly than anything,
会話に出てきたシールっていうのは歴史シールのことだ。
had to be. For what he'd been saying, I was sure of it. And while he knew about the sumo stickers, he didn't seem to realize their importance. Maybe he hadn't realized that they were at the other 2 crime scenes. Good. I really was one step ahead of the police.
やっぱりこれはまたとないチャンスなんだ。
I mean, you say that, but he also clearly has information you don't. For one thing, he has Momose. If I keep it up, I might be able to learn more about the case than anyone else. More than ignorant kids getting ready for the festival, more than the people who had to cling to the internet for information, more than even the police. More than Kawahara-kun, that jerk who called me a pretend reporter, and more than the rest of the class who called me a camera kid.
情弱を全員見返してやれ。
はい。2015年10月7日0時になりました。皆様、ようこそいらっしゃいませ。Kei-san と申します。
That doesn't sound like Arimura at all, actually. It could be Kurisu, honestly. Shibuya's news net radio started just like how it said it would. Started just like it had said it would. Kei's voice was as pleasant and clear as ever. The last broadcast was after the Love Hotel incident, so it would have been September 30th. It had been about a week.
まとわりつく暑さはもうなくなりましたね。発表されている通りなら、しばらくは過ごしやすい気温になると思いますが、いかがお過ごしでしょうか。
As I listened to her voice read out the latest information from Shibuya, I grabbed a magazine off the cabinet shelf. It was a back issue of the Cool Cat Press I bought, or rather been forced to buy, from Gen-san. Just like with Kei-san's broadcast, it had been a while since I'd spent any time with this. I flipped through the pages, looking for an interesting article. It was still mostly junk. 10 ways to make your ideal girl like you, how to tell your ideal girl to like you like her, what to say to your ideal girl to get her to your bed, etc. Terrible. There were a lot of articles that were of no interest to me whatsoever. Nope, not at all. As I carefully read through these articles, which did not interest me at all, I found a small section at the back that was something a little different. I like how he's even in his head in denial. He's like, after I carefully read the articles I didn't want to read at all, I was being forced to. You couldn't, there was a gun to my head, I had to do it. Rorschach will reveal her naked heart, how to know exactly what she's thinking. The article contained a strange symmetrical drawing in black ink along with commentary from a psychoanalyst about what each said about your personality. Or at least, it was someone who claimed to be a psychoanalyst. Now, the funny thing about being a psychoanalyst is psychoanalysts don't have to have a degree, because that'd be a psychologist. So, a psychoanalyst could be anybody who says, I've got experience and, just trust me, bro. At the very end, there were even diagrams of how to use the pictures to see how popular you were, how compatible you were with a certain girl.
もう何でもありだな、この本。
Yeah, everything is stupid, I whispered to myself. The Rorschach test was a famous personality test. It's not that famous, though. It's not accurate. A famous type of projective personality test invented by a Swiss psychiatrist. The projective test is a test which gives a subject stimuli that can be interpreted in multiple ways and uses their response to learn more about who they are, what they're thinking. In a Rorschach test, the ink is dribbled onto a piece of paper, which is then folded in half and unfolded in order to create a symmetrical image. This image is then shown to the test subject and the response is recorded. Rorschach images almost come in a set of 10 cards. The use of this set requires a great deal of knowledge and skill. Much research has been done about the use of the Rorschach cards since their invention, and their use continues to this day. Yeah, but it's also been fairly debunked. You can kind of glean, but it's all about the answers. It has nothing to do with the actual pictures. And the amount of data you get from somebody, again, is suspect because it's the other mind problem. Again, just because someone says that the way they experience their thoughts, like they could say that all they want, but you can't know for sure what it's like being in their head. So it's very limiting. I mean, it's better than nothing, though. I could see it being a part of a large profile that you make with various types of testing to try and have an understanding of an individual. But a Rorschach test not only would not be able to tell you about your compatibility with another person, it wouldn't even tell you very much about you because you're biased. You're going to likely read that article that is trying to tell you, take this test, it'll tell you about you. It's just to tell you what you want to hear. It does involve pouring black and red ink down the folded cards, spreading it out to create a strange symmetrical shape. Now, the funny thing is, these shapes are fairly common Rorschach ones. This one that kind of looks like a moth. And then, of course, the one on the left is two bears high-fiving. Everyone who's ever played Fallout New Vegas knows that that's clearly what that picture is. It can't be anything else. The bottom two look kind of similar to each other. If it's weird, the one on the right, the first thing I thought of is it looked like a pelvic bone. But as I looked at it longer, it also looks like two people who are both trying to carry a heavy bucket of water. And then the one on the left, I would say... Oh, that one's tougher. I can't really, I'm not, picking up a discernible, maybe, a giant creature with, large feet, staring down at me. So, yeah, top right, moth. Top left, two bears high-fiving. Bottom right, a pelvic bone or two people carrying a heavy bucket. And then the bottom left would be, a large creature staring down at me. Okay. Interesting. And it has these little things like these derivatives. If you saw a fur-covered animal like a sheep, you're very perceptive. Okay. If it's with wings, you saw a winged animal like a bird, you likely have a strong craving or hungering wish for freedom. Okay, so I saw bears I consider to be covered in fur and a moth which has wings. So we'll see, whatever. Anyway, enough about that. Different people would see the shape of a dog's head or a man and a woman kissing, and what you saw told you about your personality. But the idea of using it to determine your popularity or compatibility with a certain girl was so stupid I had to laugh. I agree! Thank you!
この図形は羊か？何々？これが羊などの毛に覆われた動物に見えたあなたは、本心を隠そうという意識が強く、女の子には 何を考えているかわからない人ととても警戒されています。
Ironically, that is accurate to him, but like that's the thing is it's pretty vague. A lot of people would probably vibe with that.
そんなあなたのモテ度は20点です。なんだと。
I mean, 20 is probably an upgrade from your actual, but I snapped back to my senses. That was close. I almost did the whole test. I tossed the magazine on my desk. And then, as if she'd been waiting for me to finish, Kei-san's voice became a little more serious.
さて、このように今日も渋谷ではいろんなニュースがありましたが、そろそろ本題に入りましょう。今日、放送の機会を設けさせていただいたのは、ある一つの記事を皆さんに紹介したいと思ったからです。
Oh. Huh? The point? What article was she talking about? I listened intently to Kei-san's words.
内容は、この放送やサイトでも頻繁に取り上げさせていただいている事件に関してのもの。
Well, now we know who she is.
今渋谷で起こっている連続猟奇事件です。
It's just the girl in the lab coat.
6年前の渋谷で連続して起こったニュージェネレーションの狂気という事件の日付と今回の連続猟奇事件の日付が一致していることは以前に述べましたが、
Oh, however.
この動画はそれ以外の共通点を指摘してくださっています。
Oh, is she gonna talk about the stickers now? What? Did someone other than us notice?
このアドレスです。
I clicked on the link she posted immediately after I saw it. It was a URL for a Nikko Nyan video. A few seconds it took to load felt like an eternity. Wouldn't it be hilarious if it's their video that they posted? That'd be awesome, actually.
来たって。
Huh? I saw the thumbnail of the video and quickly turned away. I immediately grabbed my phone.
尾上、渋谷ニュース聞いてるか？早く見てみろ。僕らの動画が特集されてる。
It is! Oh, that's so cool! October 7th, 2015, Wednesday. Sakura ga kacho Shibuya. Sakuragao kacho Shibuya. Oh my gosh, that's so much. I'm so sorry. Hey, freeze the credit bureau! Yes!
それでは今回はこの辺りで
Oh, you broadcast
お
from
付き合いい
here.
ただきありがとうございます。
Oh my gosh.
わずかな時間のお相手は私、Keiさんでした。
Yeah. Everything about this is just wonderful. Wow. I like her a lot. She's cool.
時刻は間もなく2015年10月7日0時22分。悔いのない一日が始められることを祈っています。
Kuno Sato gave her usual sign-off and ended the broadcast. Mio. She stretched expansively, her shoulders cracking as the stretch passed through her entire body. She knew that acting like a proper lady was the way to get listeners for these guerrilla radio broadcasts, but it still felt like she was taking things too far. After almost 100 times, she was used to it, but she'd never finished a broadcast without feeling exhausted. It's actually kind of funny. It is true. Like, you'd think that doing a setup like this, talking to the camera, wouldn't be exhausting. I doubt it's nearly as exhausting as people who do, like, performative type of content. VTubers, a lot of, like, just YouTubers in general. You put on a personality or, like, a persona, especially if you're going to be cracking jokes and stuff. And I think that is exhausting because even just being me, but like trying to be like in the present and kind of projecting my thoughts constantly out loud, it's more exhausting than you'd expect. Not actually exhausting, I'd say mentally so. And even then, it's not like that big of a deal, but it is something after like I record a video, I usually like gotta go decompress, like kind of breathe for a few minutes at least, and then I start usually dive right into editing.
いや
お疲れ様。
Hey, there she is. Oh, Momose, you've aged wonderfully.
もらいます。
Shinjo watched, stunned, as Mio leaned back in her chair, crossed her legs, accepted the coffee from Momose.
昼間の有村といい、最近の若い女の子はどうなってるんだ?
Heh. She sure didn't look like a girl who had been speaking to a computer microphone with a pleasant voice just a moment ago. He knew this was what she was really like, but...
Huh?
Her eyes met with his.
何をしていたんだ今のは。
情報の発信だ。他に何がある?
Yeah. Gosh darn it. I don't like that I keep falling in the same... I'm becoming rather predictable. She's really... I like her a lot.
Huh?
That made no sense. Broadcasting information.
まあ、新庄ちゃんがわからないのも無理はないけどね。
Momose glanced over at Kunosato.
ミオちゃんはうちの大切な情報屋なの。本業は研究者だけど。
Day job being a scientist? She's still at the school, right? Or is she like... How's that work? Is she like just like super smart?
はあ?
Yeah.
その年でですか?
そう。アメリカの研究所に飛び級で招かれた天才。
Okay. Alright. So not only do we have a kurusu, which is not a kurusu, by one vowel sound, we also just happen to have a genius who skipped several grades and attended university in America. Wait a minute. She even mentioned kurusu, didn't she? Didn't she? Oh my gosh. It's all connected. It's all connected. I see the pattern now.
私は秀才型です。天才ってやつはこんなもんじゃない。
Yeah, maybe. But you skipped a lot of grades. That's fair. You're still pretty close.
それ、よく電話で話してるあなたがお世話になった子のこと?
Oh my gosh, it's just flat out her. Oh, this is... I can't handle this. Kunosato nodded and started to massage her tired shoulders. Oh my gosh. It's so much. He had no idea. He thought she was pretty grown up for a 17-year-old, but...
何の研究を?
私のプロフィールが事件と関係あるのか?
Oh, you're not gonna say, huh?
いや、そうじゃないが。
Is it Maho, the other character I really like? She also was a genius.
ここよ。
Here we go. Momose pointed to Shinjo's head.
頭?
Psychology.
脳みそ。量子脳論特別研究員。
Oh my gosh, it's all the same people! The name given to a scientific field that attempts to explain brain activity, particularly human consciousness from quantum mechanics perspective. Which, God, I don't know if that's real. Like that, I don't think it is. That's neurology on a quantum scale. That's like neurology married a physicist and like they had the baby of quantum brain dynamics. I'm gonna see. Quantum brain dynamics. Okay. Is it real though? That's the thing. It seems more like it's a possibility type thing. And maybe like people are doing some some work in it. But from what I can tell, at the very most it's like a physician, but it runs into the same problems of like trying to study the brain. It's just very difficult because it's hard to get subjective, like tangible, repeatable, like experimental data from a person's reported perspectives. The closer we get is neurology because we can actually study the brain's like electro signal mapping and use that to try and make leaps in logic and understanding. So it's gotta be that. But it's gonna be the same freaking university.
なぜ壁宝学園に？
渋谷にある壁宝はいろいろとカオスチャイルド症候群を研究するのにちょうどいいからよ。ね。
So she's looking into chaoschild syndrome.
本題に入りませんか？
Without waiting for Shinjo or Momose to agree, she continued.
有村は力士シールについて何か言っていたか？
俺にはタメ口なんだよな。
Well, it's professional. He sighed to himself.
おい。
いや、何を気にしているか知らないが、気味悪がっていただけだ。
確かか？
何をそんなに気にしている？そういえば、さっきもシールについて何か言っていたな。
Yeah. No, there's definitely a connection. And I think she's trying to see if Arimura is connected to the person who's behind the stickers or not. He thought back to how different Kuno Sato's voice was when she was on the radio.
あれは何をしていたんだ？
だから、情報の発信だと言っただろ。
ちゃんと説明してあげたら？これから新庄ちゃんとは解決まで協力することになるんだし。
So if she's wearing a lab coat, she must really look up to Kurisu. Like she's just a big fangirl, like we all are. Kunosato didn't bother to hide her displeasure at Momose's interruption.
ギブアンドテイクでしょ。
もらえるものがあればいいんですがね。
There was enough to piss Shinjo off.
お前な、少しは年長者に対する敬意を。
今年発表された主要メディアの利用率を知っているか？
Yeah.
は？
It's like, do you know how much people pay attention to what?
ネットの利用者は全体で7割、10代では8割、20代30代では9割が利用していて、いずれもテレビよりも利用率が高い。
Oh, yeah. That's basically been killed, unfortunately. Local news is really the part that needs to be kept alive because like there are a lot of local news like channels that are the only source for anything that's not global or like scale of the country.
都市部に限定すればもっとわかる。10代20代で新聞を日常的に利用しているやつは1割もいない。去年も一昨年もそう変わらん。
Oh, and it's way lower even now.
中学生へのスマホの普及率は半分以上。高校生以上になると9割5分。スマホを持っていることはネットを利用していることと同義だ。
That's true.
待て、何の話だ？
普段手に入れる情報をネットだけに依存している人間がどれだけいると思う
Kunosato suddenly stood up and brought over a laptop she'd been using to stream. She opened something on the screen for Shinjo to see. Surveillance Society Committee member sues SafeWork. It was the homepage for a major newspaper dated yesterday. A Shibuya area woman has filed a 1.1 million yen suit into Tokyo court against venture capital firm SafeWorks Tokyo, claiming they violated her privacy. The suit is dated the 2nd. She alleges that one of the company's security cameras in Shibuya took video of her laundry drying on the veranda and uploaded it to the internet without her permission. SafeWorks responded that the webpage in question was built at the request of the ward government in an attempt to improve security leading up to the Restoration Festival. They did not, however, comment on what actions they intend to take. So what's odd about that is that this idea that like they're being sued for uploading a video of her to the internet. Their response is that the web page where the video was posted was a request of the government. But why is it publicly available? It's so strange. Effects of the crash of 15 continued major U.S. IT corporates. The Pokecons finally be able to make phone calls. What would the Shibuya murders tell us about the killers? Blank, blank, blank. Police issue warning over to overeager net reporters. Politician resigns for saying die on Twippo. Man, if only. what this new law means for Tokyo's youth and major foreign idol participating in Shibuya restoration. Oh, who's that gonna be? Anyway, there was an article about the Shibuya resident suing SafeWorks for an invasion of privacy.
これは私が起こした。
You caused this?
Huh?
監視社会の問題を考える団体の一人がツイポの中毒者でな。
Okay.
同様の思想を持つアカウントとホームページを別々の人間としてでっち上げ、過去にあった効果的な判例に誘導し、複数人からあなたは被害者だと言われているように思わせた。
Okay. So she made like a bot farm.
踏ん切りがつかなかったようだから、週末に更新側が取った無礼な態度を録音させ、それをネタに炎上させた。その結果が。
Was this, she said as she tapped the laptop.
まさか。
ネットに依存している奴が一番食いつく情報は、自分にとって都合がいいネット以外のメディアの情報だ。
Go take a screenshot of this, everyone. You want to know why the world is messed up as it is? It's because they figured this out. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying, isn't it? Oh, like, holy crap. Like, we all need to think about this moment for the rest of our lives. If there's nothing else you take from video games, like, remember this. When a person relies on the internet for their information, they'll accept any offline source that confirms their natural biases.
かけてもいいが、こいつは提訴に関して、私が紹介した書籍以外は一行も読んでないぞ。
Not that I ever seen her face, Kunosato continued. The way she spoke alone was enough to make Shinjo believe she was telling the truth.
なんでそんなことを？
百瀬さんから更新がきな臭いことは聞いているだろう。私も同じ考えだ。なるべくイメージを落としておきたい。そして。
Yeah, plus we all know, well, like, don't know, but like, I'm like 90% sure they're just Narosa, like, repackaged and working with the cult.
私が今欲しいのは力士シールに関する情報だ。
The screen was indeed showing a picture of the sumo sticker. And then...
碧峰学園新聞部
Shinjo's gaze landed on the phrase in the video's introduction. Wasn't that where those kids who stuck it to the love hotel went?
首を突っ込むなと注意しておいたのに。
His tone was irritated as he remembered the faces of the boy and the girl. Kunosato, however, seemed to find it rather entertaining.
なかなかに気のつく連中だ。利用できるときに利用しておく。
Ah, interesting.
今から、そうだな。12時間もすれば、この動画に力士シールに関しての情報が殺到する。
Oh yeah, it's gonna go viral if it hasn't started already.
え？
さっきの放送での情報発信は、そのための仕込みの一つだ。
Because she's like, so she put in all this groundwork of just being a consistent source of like real information in the area, get people interested, have a following, even if it's not a massive following, just has to be big enough. And now she can slip in information where she wants to. Very clever. After what she just told him about her dealings with safe work, he couldn't help but believe her.
ん？何しんちょちゃん？
いえ。
He realized that he must have been looking at Momose for an answer. Just who was this girl?
あ、ダメよしんちょちゃん。みおちゃんに手出したら。
You better not.
何言ってるんですか？
He felt his cheeks turn red at this entirely unexpected response.
違います。これは図星とかではなく。
わかってるわよ。まだまだね。
She's like, calm down.
有村は他に同類を見つけていないんだな。
Kunosato interrupted.
ああ、そう言っていた。
Gigalomaniacs, I'm guessing.
であれば、次に狙われる可能性があると分かっているのは有村だけになる。何の目的かは知らないが、おそらく10月10日に。
Yeah. October 10th. The date the vampire incident 6 years ago.
いざとなったらおとりに使ってしまえばいい。狙われるかどうかはわからんがな。
So it seems like they might be targeting gigalomaniacs, and if that's the case, then that's why. Oh, and if she's figured that out, that might be why she almost she kind of gave a pseudo warning to Taku. She might have recognized in him what she is.
そんなことできるわけないだろう
Shinjo slammed his fist down on the desk and glared at Kunosato. That was going too far even for him. But instead of getting scared, Kunosato glared back at him with an expression he'd never seen before. Her face went cold and dangerous like the blade of a knife. She looked more like one of the people he'd arrested than anyone he'd saved.
お前は事件の解決に協力してくれるんだろう言っておくがいざという時の指示には従ってもらうぞ。
こちらも言っておくがな。
I don't work for you. Kunosato put her hands on the desk and drew closer to him.
私がまず殺したいのは今回の事件の犯人で。
Oh, okay.
その次は有村をはじめとするそいつらだ。
Oh. Uh-oh. So you want to kill gigalomaniacs? Is that because you blame them for what happened, maybe?
めんどくさいな。
だな。
Okay. Actually, I'm excited, but I should stop here. Alright. So that was interesting. Mio, possibly one of the most interesting, compelling, and probably my top current, most character I'm most interested in. Also seems to have a bit of a, I'm going to kill whoever's behind these incidents, and I'm going to go after every gigalomaniac I can find. Where it's like, oh, okay. That's not great, but we'll have to see. Anyway, that's very exciting. Oh, it's getting good. It always is getting good, but man, this is already so good. I want to keep playing. It's done such a good job. This story is really well executed, and the characters are so interesting. I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. But for now, we will take a break. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel, for being a part of this adventure. It's always a pleasure to be able to share with you, and hopefully you're having a good week. As we speak, I should be basically on my way out, starting some new stuff and adventures. It does mean I'm going to be away for a week. Now, if all goes according to plan, I'll have pre-recorded everything to come out this following week. And if there is an interruption, it'll be something in the week maybe doesn't get recorded, maybe trails just because it tends to take longer. Or maybe there'll be a late start to the week following where I haven't had time to get back and kind of get settled in enough to record. So we'll have to see about all that, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you being here. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I know you must be bursting at the seams to tell me like hints or secrets or whatnot, but please hold back. Let me just sit and stew and theorize and throw out my stuff, because I guarantee you it's way more fun watching me kind of cook myself, and I think it'll be better. And then you can gush about it all you want there. If you really just have to say something, if you go to our Discord, there is a section. It's labeled not safe for work, but if that's causing issues, I might change that. But it's supposed to be a spoiler zone, and the not safe for work is not actually a not safe for work flag. It's just a hey, make sure you actually want to enter this chat room. It's just meant to be a buffer like that. So I could take it down and just hope people are smart enough not to click on the spoiler tagged area. But if you want to just chat there, share some memes, share some theories, or just kind of talk about maybe what my theories are, or how frustrating it is to see how close I'm getting or how distracted I'm getting, that's a great place for it. And then you can bring it up to me in the future when it makes more sense. I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Hope you have a great rest of your day, a good start to your weekend. And until next video you're watching, be able to see me in next. I'll see you there.